What is good, guys? What is good? Back with another video. This time we're talking about Matthew Stafford. And Matthew Stafford for the Rams, he's really starting to get up there in age. He's sitting at what is Matthew Stafford sitting at? He's sitting at 38. Lots of times in the NFL, when we start to see most of these QBs get into that 38 to 40 range, right? It's just a matter of time, right? Unless you're Tom. Tom was entirely different. I'm not saying Matthew Stafford couldn't play into his 40s. He could, but do you guys remember coming into this year, all the stuff with his back, all that stuff? That stuff was pretty overblown, honestly. Even I bought into it, reading things. Came out, was really great this season. Matthew Stafford looked amazing. There's a reason that he won the MVP, right? But he's kind of getting up there in that range for the Rams where it's all right, we might need to find Matthew Stafford's replacement. We might need to find his replacement. And just looking at it, so I've seen some people say oh, should they maybe draft a quarterback in this upcoming draft? In this draft, I'm after Fernando Mendoza, after that, I feel a lot of these guys are. I'm not saying there's no hope, right? Because we've seen the Brock Purdy just come out of nowhere and be really good. So there's always some players that can just surprise, right? But just from what I'm looking at, I'd be shocked if there's any QB besides Fernando Mendoza, maybe a Ty Simpson, that are going to have a lot of success for the Rams. So I don't know about this draft. I mean, hell, I've seen people talk and say maybe they bring in Anthony Richardson. Now, my thing with Anthony Richardson is I'm bro, it's not it's not like Anthony Richardson wasn't getting good coaching with it's not like he wasn't getting good coaching under Shane Steichen.
Yo, you're not subscribed? Come on, man. Why you not subscribed? Be sure to drop a like on this video as well while you're at it. And be sure to follow me on Instagram. Drop any topic of discussion, any question in there. We can make a video on it. Even if you have a player, we can do some film review on them as well. All right, now let's get back to the video.
In Indianapolis Colts. Shane Steichen's a really good offensive play caller. And he's had a lot of, he's had a really good history with QBs. Justin Herbert, Jalen Hurts. Hell, look at Daniel Jones this last year. So I don't know how much better Sean McVay could make Anthony Richardson. I mean, hell, maybe Anthony Richardson has just matured. And he could be that guy for the Rams, sitting behind Matthew Stafford. That may be a possibility. But I'm looking more into the next draft. I am. Because I think the next draft could have some decent players, right? You got Arch up in Texas. I know it's been up and down with Arch, but I feel he's just still maturing as a QB. You got Dante Moore returning with the Oregon Ducks. I think he's a guy that the Rams could be looking at. And some of these quarterbacks, I just don't know where they'll be drafted. But the fact that there are 3 or 4 of them, I'm I could see it being a draft with 3 quarterbacks in the first round. You just don't know how the college football season is going to go. You know what I mean? We don't know who's going to be winning the Heisman. Any of these guys could have a shot at the Heisman. Then you had Brendan Sorsby, the Cincinnati transfer going to Texas Tech. He could also be good, right? And then Trinidad Chambliss. All of those guys, I just view it I just think next year's draft compared to this draft, you're just having a bunch more guys that I see a lot more potential in than this current draft, in my opinion. I could be wrong, but I just see it as one of those drafts where we could be seeing 2 to 3 quarterbacks in the first round. You know what I mean? It just pushes down more quarterbacks into the Rams area, because let's be real, the Los Angeles Rams ain't gonna be selecting in the top 10, top 15 unless something absolutely crazy happens, right? Some crazy injury happens with Matthew Stafford. Not hoping for that, right? Don't want to see that happen. But that's literally the only way that they would be selecting that high up in the draft. And I just don't see that happening, right? And I'm expecting the Rams to be in that 20 to 32 range. They'll be somewhere in there. And for that, they're going to need to get into a draft where they can select a quarterback at the top round with multiple guys. And I don't know, right? Maybe one of these guys gets forced down to the second round, third round. You can also find guys in the second and third round. That's also a possibility. But I just don't think this year's draft, compared to what could be, this upcoming draft in the 2027 NFL draft, That's just the way I see it. But then again, it's like it's kind of sketch because it's like the Rams kind of like waiting on it. You just don't know what will happen, right? Like for all we know, the quarterbacks that I just talked about, they could be bad this next year. Then the Rams end up missing out on some of those guys. You just never know how the draft process is gonna go. Never know how following season is gonna go. So I do think that the Rams do need to find that guy behind Matthew Stafford because Father Time is starting to catch up to him. It is for Matthew Stafford. And like I think he was great this past season. I thought Matthew Stafford was really good this past season. I do. But like, I'm like, they gotta find somebody to replace Matthew Stafford. Sooner or later, this thing is gonna come apart, and you don't want to be caught with your pants pulled down, right? Don't have a QB. Matthew Stafford's not gonna be back. Then who's at your QB position? You know what I mean? This is a Rams team that is ready to win now, not a Rams team that is, built or ready to be bad for a year or two or just be average. This team is built to win now. You know what I mean? Like I'm not saying like I'm not saying there's some like a dynasty right now, but I'm like, this is a team that could be possibly catching a Super Bowl in the next like 3 to 4 years. They just signed Sean McVay to that multi-year extension this February. So I just think they need to keep the train going. So get a guy behind Matthew Stafford that can just sit and learn, and then you can kind of just plug them in. I mean, some people will sit and argue. They'll tell you like the days of a quarterback sitting behind another starter, those days are over. I think that's bullshit. I think that's literally bullshit. Like if you don't have to force a guy out there and you can just sit back and learn. Like most recent we saw with I'm not gonna go JJ McCarthy, but Jordan Love. We watched it with Jordan Love because Jordan Love was there for like multiple years under Aaron Rodgers, and Jordan Love is a franchise quarterback. So I think that's the best route for the Los Angeles Rams to go. Do they do it this year in the draft? I don't think so. Maybe go out and find another quarterback. I mean, not just Anthony Richardson. There's Malik Willis. Do you want to see Malik Willis sit for 2 to 3 years? Sign him to an extension? Something not too crazy. Maybe you do that. I feel like Malik Willis is kind of going to be a little bit pricey. Anthony Richardson, what would they need to do? Trade for him? They need to trade for an Anthony Richardson. Bring in a Mac Jones. Mac Jones a little bit older. Not too old, right? But maybe you sit him and then just bring him in as a starter. There's possibilities in this league, and there's other quarterbacks that are sitting behind others that you might want to bring in for a staffer. You don't have to just rely on the draft. There are other guys. So yeah, I don't know. I do think that the Rams really need to start worrying about that, because in the next 2 to 3 years, at any time, Matthew Stafford could just be like, I'm done. That age catches up to everybody. So I don't know, man. You guys let me know what you guys think about it. Be sure to drop a like, subscribe to your boy. All we do is talk football here. And yeah, man, appreciate you watching. It's your boy Shady Luke, and I am outie. Deuces.